lastly, but certainly not leastly, is our secretary, Skipper Butler, our Secretary Arville of Farley, who I just seen chasing Skipper Butt and Cletus across the street for some indiscretion, which I'm sure they committed. So that makes up our...
I didn't know what I was. I was a 14-year-old boy. I went to the Boy Scout Jamboree in Pennsylvania, and I was trying to be cool. All 14-year-old boys are trying to be cool. And I'd found that the only way I could find to be cool, since I wasn't strong or handsome or fantastically minded or anything like that, was to be funny.
Last of all, we have placed a guard at the eggnog this year on account of something got put in it last year. It was the best party we ever had, and everybody...
Don't ask me where it started. I have no idea. By using an English accent, people would think I was funny and therefore cool. So I was working on my English accent, and when I got into the scout troop, which was from all around the valley, I didn't know anybody, and so I started using this little thing. And there was a guy there who had an English accent too. And so instead of being upset with him, we started telling stories between these two characters, and they became named Irving and Seymour, The Adventures of Irving and Seymour. And we told stories every day, and we just made them up on the fly. And the Scouts just thought that was the greatest thing. And they nominated us for the the Sectional Scout Talent Awards. And I thought, oh, there'll be 300 people there. We got there were 3,000 scouts across this hill and this great big stage up there. And I turned to the guy and said, let's do the best of Irving and Seymour. Here's what we're going to do. And he said, okay. So we both went up there, just eyes this big, and did the best of Irving and Seymour. And we won an award, which is actually on my other office wall, believe it or not. And my mother said I went away one little boy and I came back another one. Suddenly I knew what I wanted to do. Farley Family Reunion started in '81. So there was 10 years of Farley before I ever got around to the Christmas, and one of my friends who was working at the motion picture studio with me said, you ought to turn this into a Christmas show. And I said, oh, Christmas show. Whoa. He said, well, how about this? How about that? And we kind of worked out this little group of characters. And I did it there for the very first time with no script. And they just went bananas. And I thought, wow, I've got something here.
Well, now Farley, who has made something of himself, he's gone to the outside world, and he is the headliner at the Lizard Lounge in Mesquite, Nevada.
One of the silliest things you will ever see. Every night before I go on, I think, oh, this is the night that the audience is going to understand how stupid this is, and they are not going to laugh. And then I go out, and that first laugh changes it, and I do laugh, you know, and they do, and I just feed off the laughter and keep going, and I keep doing sillier and sillier and sillier things, and they keep laughing harder and harder and harder. And when it's over, I am just a fuzzball. I am worn out. I'm sitting there backstage with my hands on my knees panting, because I am so worn out, but the audience just going out, oh, you're just like my, you know, so really fun. It's great.
'Twas the night before Christmas, all the Farleys was in bed, some snuggled at the foot and some at the head of the bed. That's 3 rhymes in 1 line. How'd you like that?
They are very wild. Look around you. The people in the Farleys are not people that we are unknown in our society. In fact, they are so close to being real that it's frightening. I run into them at shows. I mean, I did a show where I started playing a character, and there was this scream that went up from the audience, and there was, just like Moses, there was a parting of the ways, and there about 35 feet from me was me. A guy sitting there, I was sitting there, had a cowboy hat on, had a little, that kind of thing. He's looking up at me. And we just looked at one another. Finally, I gave him a little courtesy on my hat, and he gave me a little courtesy back, and we just went on. But the whole room knew who he was, knew his name, knew he was just exactly like, he looked just exactly like me. It was a great moment, and I've had many of those.
Everybody ready?
Yeah.
Perks on the edge of your terrace. Okay, here we go. Silent night, holy night, holy night. All is calm. All
up and put her finger in my face and say, "Mr. Arrington, you should not be singing the hymns of Christmas in that way." And you know what? There was only one answer, and it's the only thing I could think to say to her, and I wasn't trying to be fancy. I just said, "Ma'am, the Farleys are singing the hymns of Christmas the only way they know how," which was true. I mean, they don't know that they're off in La La Land. They're trying the best they can.
I'll be back. Michelle Obama!
We are the family of man. That's who the Farleys are. We're the family of man, and we all have little hellion rascals that we want to run away from, and we all have people who break things and steal things, and people who speak amiss, and people. But the fact is that one thing about the Farleys is that you got to give them credit for. They love each other, and they continue to get together no matter how bad it gets. They stick together, and you know, there's a lot to be said for that.